Billy the Process. I'm here to talk about authenticity today. Authenticity! As I've done for the last couple of episodes, this has been the authenticity series. Um, and authenticity. I've been trying to figure out how to talk about it. And in every episode, I think I've been talking about it a little differently. And today, I really was compelled to get on to talk about this. And the title will tell you sort of what inspired it, yo. I was on YouTube, which is what I watch. I don't know about y'all. Like, I don't really have all those other subscription services. I'll be on YouTube heavy. There's some great stuff on there. So I was on YouTube and I'm watching this 20v1, 20 girls, Adrien Broner, and this guy named Dean the Great. Are you familiar with this? There's these because I watch the Pop the Balloon stuff, and I'm actually a big fan of the Pop the Balloon stuff. So I think I get these suggested to me. But it was this it was like a game show. It's an independent game show from this independent YouTuber, and he's got Adrien Broner and this guy Dean the Great, these two kind of comedian boxers, you know. I knew about Adrien Broner from years back when he was a boxer, when he was kind of successful, and he was having these big matches. And the first time I heard about Adrien Broner was I saw a video of him, I think, throwing $100 bills in the toilet after he won a big fight. So this is a kind of interesting person. It was all for attention, and did it on camera. It was really kind of ridiculous. Anyway. Authenticity. I'm watching Adrien Broner and I was triggered by it. I realized that it was him, this guy, Dean the Great, who's like his best friend, and they're just being clowns. They're just being completely nutty, from the jump. They had, a cup of liquor, I'm sure, a cup of a drink, and they started off a little toasty and just wild. They were talking to each other as if they were not mic'd up. The microphone's catching everything they say to each other. They're talking to the camera. They're talking to these 20 women that are lined up to go talk to them. And it was crazy. Just the things they were saying, it was so cringy for me. You know what I'm saying? By the end of it, they asked every single of these 20 women, will you suck my dick tonight? You coming on with us tonight? You gonna suck both of our dicks tonight? Huh? Let's do that. And they're laughing and these girls, some of them, I don't know how old some of these girls are. Some of them, they range, you know what I'm saying? Imagine 18 at the lower end, all the way to whatever. And some of them are playing around with it. They're all playing around with it. They're all they were actually really grounding it in something. A lot of them, they saw themselves out. They could vote themselves out. And so they would do that. You know what I'm saying? But Adrien Broner and the boy Dean the Great were bugging, just like, everything was a reference to his chick's pussy, and you know what I'm saying, who you fucking two guys tonight, we're doing this and that, we're drunk, and they were spilling the drinks on themselves. And I realized one of the things that I've realized in my 43 years of life is that when I'm triggered, when I see something in the world, when I see something, I want to call it contrast. When I look out into the world and I see contrast and it bothers me and it triggers me, I realize that it's a question for me. It's actually something about me. I have to ask myself, I'm looking out at the world and making this observation. I'm the one feeling weird about this. And what does it mean for me? So what I had to do in this moment was I had to go back and examine what it was. And I realized for me, and I know I've been doing YouTube videos for a while. I've been someone with, my history. Maybe you don't, but I worked at CNN and journalism background, and also worked on Capitol Hill, political sensibilities and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a creative, and I'm an independent creative at this point. But Adrien Broner was demonstrating for me all these things that were outside of my boundaries. Those were me, how I judge myself and how I stop myself. I could never imagine that freedom, that level of freedom. You see what I'm saying? That's how I had to perceive it for me to kind of really understand what's happening here. Everything that we experience out there is a reflection, and it has to do with especially the things that trigger us. These are signs that about us. They're signs where we're not free. They're signs of, fears that we have. And he was expressing a kind of freedom that I don't engage in. I typically don't engage in. You know, my wife knows me best. I'm chill, I relax. He had this big energy, but the cameras were on and he did not care about being judged as like an easy, nasty, freak nasty. In fact, he called himself that. And over the top playfuls, nothing serious. He couldn't take anything serious the entire like hour and 20 minutes. And I was transfixed. I watched the whole thing. You know, I couldn't believe it. I typically wouldn't watch, you know, the whole thing. It was like a fucking train wreck. But the lesson for me was, what is it for me? It was like, oh, he is freer. He's demonstrating a level of freedom that I don't. And when I do these episodes, I get on here, my background, I mentioned the work background, but also educationally, you know what I'm saying? I have a degree in political science, I have a degree in ethics and international relations, and I have a philosophy background. And I looked at the episodes that I do, which I love, which are fantastic and brilliant, fucking profound often. But I do lean into that. While Adrien's like, oh, pussy, who's gonna suck our dicks tonight? You know, and I go like this. For me, what I do is I dress up a little bit more serious. So I'm tackling serious topics or what feels serious to me. I have this preoccupation with being understood. I have a preoccupation with being legible in a way, being, you know what I'm saying? I want you to listen to my words and to take me seriously. He's free. He's free. Who's more authentic? I think I'm authentic too. But how do we define it? What is authenticity? That's what this whole series has been about. It's like, and that's the thing. That's why it's a series. It's not easy. It's not a performance. That's the problem with a lot of the manosphere stuff. Niggas always got some performance. Well, you gotta do this. You see some of this stuff? Don't lean into pictures with your girlfriend, and don't smile. And they teach you how to sit. They teach you how to walk. They teach you how to stand. They teach you how to take pictures. There's always some performance to do, but that's not it. That's not what authenticity is, and that's not what is genuine, and that's not related to your highest calling. Yeah, I mean, like the thing you could be. So anyway, the thing with Adrien Broner, actually, it pulled me back to really critique and understand myself deeper. And it actually reminded me of someone else that triggers me when I watch them too, is like Ben Shapiro. You know, I watch Ben Shapiro, a person who is shameless, just a shameless abuser of his platform, who's willing to lie, who's willing to confuse and misconstrue and be racist, and, you know what I'm saying, abuse statistics in pursuit of his racism, in pursuit of clicks, you know what I'm saying, in pursuit of his little career, his journalism thing that he created, which is all bullshit, it's racist garbage. Another person that triggers me, right? And when I'm able to sit and not be triggered and move past the anger, or the disdain, the same kind of shock, the disgust, like I would never do that. I would never use my platform to warp information and to spread misinformation and to diminish groups of people for clicks. I would never do that. So I was able to connect Adrien Broner and Ben Shapiro as these just two different expressions that, for one reason or another, good, bad, or whatever, like without judgment, I have created an identity that externalizes this expression. I could never be that. And as I said, the reasons were like, I somewhere along the line, life, because people, like, I used to be a chill, like I'm still a chill person. I'm a fun person and all this stuff. But in terms of my, like, somewhere along the line, yo, life took me down a serious kind of path, man. I used to host comedy shows. I used to host on campus at Stony Brook. I used to host, you know what I'm saying, all the fraternity shows and the comedy shows and the, you know, fashion shows. And I would cut it up, man. I'd have a lot of fun. I was also, you know what I'm saying, captain of the football team. And I did my thing, man. And I was so much more freer. But at 43, somewhere in the line, I got more serious, and these serious topics and meaningful things in the world. And I wanted to be accurate. I also I wanted to be taken seriously, you know, which is why the Adrien Broner expression is so odd to me, because he clearly does not care. And in a similar way, like the Ben Shapiro expression, like again, but he does get taken seriously. It's very strange. How is it that Ben Shapiro ends up on CNN being the type of person he is? How does Scott Jennings end up on CNN? See, that's a whole other thing. I'm not even gonna go down there because that's gonna take me down the serious path. So here's what I noticed. I noticed that instead of judging Adrien Broner, and instead of judging even Ben Shapiro, I can name some other people. Instead of judging these people, I wanted to notice what was triggering me about myself, my identity, what I was holding on to, and then to notice maybe there's like something I can aspire. Like those guys don't care. Those guys have a clear vision of it's not to aspire to. I gotta rethink this. I'm always rethinking this, but it's not aspiration is not really the thing here. It's freedom. It's freedom. That's what we're looking for. And I'm actually free. I realized when I was watching some of my episodes, and as dope as they are, like, and I appreciate them, I'm still careful. I'm still thinking about my words, you know? And this is a good thing. This is a good thing because I'm tackling difficult things. We talk about genocide on my show. We talk about race, class, gender. We talk politics. We talk philosophy. And this is a strange moment in human history. There's a lot going on. And I do think that too many people are loose with language. They're too fucking loose. They're not serious about truth. And so I've been intentional about me being serious about truth. And that's created a certain seriousness. But I know I also make cartoons. I'm also myself a clown, you know what I'm saying, in my own way. And I know that I can access all of that. But it's been, I'm giving you my internal dialogue here. It's been a little weird for me to navigate and to understand it, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be anything like a Ben Shapiro, and I don't want to be anything like a Adrien Broner. There are other people, but there's no one exactly like me. Like I'm me, you know, and that's really where I've come to. Is that authenticity for me, and maybe for you, maybe for everybody, yo. It's just a process, yo. It's an ongoing development, and the identity is a flowing thing. It's not real. It's not fucking static. It's not even real. It's a construction. It's a mental construction, and it's been construed and constructed through childhood into adulthood, choices and fears and experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we can be whatever the fuck we want to be, you know? And it's also interesting to see what we've chosen to be. Like each of us have chosen this thing. We've chosen these parts for one reason or another. For safety, for fear, for love. I don't know. Some people are sociopaths. Ben Shapiro types in particular. But back to me, my lesson is, and this is a key thing, all this stuff, all this contrast, all this stuff going on in the world, trying to judge and to the good, bad, and to navigate something in the world and to change something out in the world. Nah, son, it's me. How do I change self? How do I lean into letting it change me? And what I mean there, so for me, it's like just being freer, like not having to carry all the weight on the words and trying so hard to be understood, trying to be legible, like I said, trying to be relatable. Somewhere these kind of stuck to me as something key to be, like important for me to be. It's not important. People live full lives being all kinds of shit, doing all kinds of stuff. So this is my process. This is what I'm going through. To me, I've shed so much, and I've talked about this on this channel. So many different things, stories have been shed about who I am that have allowed me to be me, and the process is like it's shedding old stories, and then it's also being informed by and inspired by new stories, and being self-driven, and finding the lane that works at the end of the day, that feels true. And so yeah, when sometimes when I'm talking about stuff and I'm trying really hard to be heard, to be understood, that's because I'm in a serious mindset or I've chosen a serious thing. But I'm just, I wanna kind of get on camera, be more myself, which might mean to just fucking let go. It's not a, what does that mean? Like what? Just fucking let go. So that's where we at. That's all I got. That's the message. Thanks for coming through. Be good. Oh, we got some comments. I'll check that out. It's because you're what? We'll read those comments later. Peace. I'm out of here. How do I do that? There we go.